Today we will see a pattern by using Java, and the pattern name is hollow rectangle. So what exactly hollow rectangle is? It is a rectangle with a border, but the interior is completely empty or filled with some different color or a pattern. In simple terms, we can say it is a rectangle with a hole in the middle. So this hollow rectangle is oftenly used in computer graphics to create a border or a frame around an image or a text without filling the interior with a solid color. So here is an example of a hollow rectangle. So we can see here the border is filled but the interior is completely empty. So now let's see a Java program which is going to get us the hollow rectangle. So what we have done here, we have considered one method, that is hollowRect, which is going to take up the number of rows and the number of columns as its argument. And within the method, we have taken a nested for loop where I value starts from 1 goes up to the rows. If at all the row is 5 and the columns is 5, this for loop is going to go starting from I value 1 and goes up to 5. Very similarly, the inner loop j also begins with 1 and goes up to 5. That is, j value will start with 1 and goes up to 5. Now, as this is a nested loop, so altogether we can say there will be 25 iterations. So what is the logic behind? Like in every iteration, we have tested a condition where if the I value matches with 1 or the I value matches with the total number of rows, j equals to 1 or j matches with the total number of columns. In those instances, we will be printing the asterisk. If none of this condition matches, then we will just print a space inside. Now at the end of each iteration, that is at the end of the inner loop, I mean when j begins with 1 goes till 5, that is where the inner loop is going to end. By the time the inner loop gets end, here I am trying to print a new line because the very next level of asterisks are to be printed in the next row. So now let's start with the first iteration where the I value is going to start with 1, and when I get into the j loop, the j value will start with 1. So as this I equals to 1 is getting satisfied and this I value will be remaining 1 for every value of j, that is j equal to 2, j equal to 3, j equal to 4, j equal to 5. So I can say that this asterisk will be printed 5 times. When I value 1, j value 1, I get 1 asterisk. When I value 1, j value 2, I get another. Similarly, I value 1, j value 3, we get the third one. I value 1, j value 4, we get fourth one. And finally, when I value is 1, j is 5, we get the fifth asterisk here. Now by this, your inner loop is going to end. I mean the j loop gets over. As a result, I come out of the j loop and this println is going to bring the cursor to the new line. And then I++ makes it I value 2, where the second iteration begins with I value 2. And once again your j value will start with 1. Now if I check the condition I equal to 1, this is false. I equal to rows, this is also failing. But when j equals to 1, yes, j value is presently 1. Because this condition is satisfied, hence we will be printing 1 asterisk. So 1 asterisk is printed. Now at the next time the j becomes 2. So now you can see this condition already failed. I equal rows also do not match. J equals to 1 also do not match. And even j equals to columns also do not match. So none of these conditions matches. As a result, the else part will execute and it is going to print a space here. And when the next time the j becomes 3, the same thing happens because none of this condition matches. Again, one more space will be printed here. And when j value is 4, once again the same thing happens. None of the condition matches. So we will get one more space here. Now when j value is 5, now we can see this condition, this last condition matches because j is 5 and calls is also 5. So at this point I'm going to get one asterisk, this one. So with this the inner loop will end for the second time, and once again the system.out.println will bring the cursor to the new line, and it also begins the third iteration where I value starts with 3, and once again the j value inner loop is begin with 1. So now because out of these 4 conditions this j equals to 1 is tested true, hence I am going to get an asterisk here. Now for the next time when j value is 2, neither of this condition is true, and for j value 3 also none of the conditions are true. For j4 also none of the conditions are true. So for j value 2, 3, 4 I am going to get a space, and space. 3 spaces are being printed because of this else block. And now when j becomes 5, so this j equal to calls matches. As a result we are going to get an asterisk here. And with this the third iteration is over. The inner loop gets over for the third time, and when we come out of this again we are trying to print a new line so that my cursor can reach the next line. So now when the fourth iteration will start, for which the I value is your 4 and j also begins with 1. So as we can see this j equals to 1 matches. As a result I am going to get this asterisk. But later on when j becomes 2, this condition fails. As a result we get a space. Similarly for j value 3, once again none of this condition pass through, hence we will get the else block executed and we get another space. And similarly for j value 4 also we will be getting another space here because none of this condition matches. But once j becomes 5, this j equal calls is going to match, as a result of which we are going to get an asterisk here. And with this the inner loop is going to end for the fourth time, and when we come out of the inner loop we have system.out.println once again bringing the cursor to the new line, and which also begins the next iteration, that is last iteration, for which the I value is 5. And as we see here this I equals to row, because I value is not going to change throughout the j value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this I equals to rows is going to be true for all the values of j1, j2, 3, 4 and 5. As a result of which I am going to get first, second, third, fourth and fifth asterisk printed. So after this, as this is the end of the outer loop also, hence we can imagine my entire method call is over, and at the end we have got this hollow rectangle where it is surrounded by all the asterisks. In the middle it is completely empty. Thank you.